Alright. Hey guys, if you are watching this, it is because you missed the lesson on Tuesday, November 10th, the day we were all online. And so this is an introduction to the immune system. So, in the beginning of the year, you guys all did some sort of lab, whether it was at home and you got to see the lab and answer the questions, or at school and you got to physically do the lab. It was on the parts of the blood. And there are 4 parts of the blood. This is hopefully review. If you need to write it down, write it down. If not, don't. Pause as need be. But plasma is the first part. It's the majority of your blood. It's the liquid that moves the particles around. Next part, we have red blood cells. They're also known as erythrocytes. But red blood cells, you can totally call them that. You can abbreviate RBC. Red blood cells carry nutrients and oxygen or carbon dioxide around the body. White blood cells, also known as leukocytes. Again, white blood cells is fine. WBC is fine. Their big thing is fighting disease. That's going to be our primary focus, is those white blood cells. Those white blood cells, that's going to be our primary focus for this lesson. And then we have platelets, thrombocytes. They clot blood. Important, just not fully relevant to what we're about to talk about. As I said, the white blood cells are going to be that main piece that we're going to be discussing. So, the immune system as a whole. What are the functions of the immune system? So what you're going to want to write down is that the immune system has 2 primary functions. One function is to protect. So that's why it's got the shield. It's shielding the body from pathogens, or protecting the body from pathogens. The other function is fighting the pathogens if they have reached past that shield. So the first line of defense I was just grabbing something. The first line of defense would be to prevent the pathogen from ever entering your body, but sometimes that fails, so your body is also prepared to fight it off. So the next important thing we've got are the cells of the immune system. So as we mentioned before, white blood cells, super important. They're a big function of the immune system. So these cells that are listed below are within the white blood cells. So first, we've got phagocytes. So phagocytes are a broad term of a cell that is within the body that is capable of engulfing and absorbing bacteria or other small cells and particles. Slow down, putting that in layman's terms. Phagocytes, they eat, so to speak. They engulf, but they eat, so to speak, bacteria, viruses, pathogens, anything that shouldn't be in the body, the phagocyte is able to engulf or eat. A type of phagocyte is a macrophage. So a macrophage, type of phagocyte, typically found in the stationary form, so it doesn't move around in tissues, or it can be found mobile in the white blood cells. But there's a lot of them where there's an infection because they are, fighting that infection. So macrophage is a type of phagocyte. That's the big thing you need to know. Then we have lymphocytes, and there are 2 types of lymphocytes. There are B cells, and their job is to make antibodies. And then we've got T cells. They kill antigens. So B cells make antibodies, T cells kill antigens. And we'll talk a little bit more about their differences later. So, how the immune system works, and this is where we left off on Tuesday. What happens is an antigen enters the body. So whether it's through a cut, it's through your mouth, through the nose, however it enters the body. A macrophage will see the antigen and it'll eat it, so to speak. Technically, we say engulf. If you go to a place of higher education and say, macrophages eat antigens, they'll be like, what? But it engulfs it. Essentially eats it, though. And when it engulfs it or eats it, it recognizes the shape. So it has this memory of, okay, this is what the antigen looks like. So what it does is it passes that shape off to B cells and T cells. So what B cells will then do is they'll be like, all right, cool, got this shape. They becomes plasma cells. These plasma cells will produce antibodies. And what antibodies do is they will cover the antigen. They tag it. So it's like putting a siren on it and being like, yo, here, get rid of this one. Then the T cell will come along and it's looking for the antibodies. And the T cell will come in and it will break apart that antigen. It's like, cool, I see the antibody, I know I have to destroy this. If it's too big, the T cell can tag it for the macrophage to break down. So, just one more time to review that. Antigen enters body. Macrophage eats or engulfs. It recognizes the shape, so it passes that off to B cells, T cells, like it's giving them wanted posters. Then the B cells will recognize that and become plasma cells. And the plasma cells will produce antibodies. The antibodies cover the antigen to tag it. T cells will break it apart. And if it's too big, the T cells will tag it and a macrophage will engulf it. So that is where we left off on Tuesday. So, have a great day.